Dead or Alive has been around for years, but it's always been sort of the underdog relative to 3D fighting game series like Tekken and Virtua Fighter and Soul Calibur. But now is the time for Dead or Alive to have its moment in the sun with Dead or Alive Ultimate. It's got a new coat of paint and this just really pretty impressive and landmark online component, which makes it one of the most important 3D fighting games to come out in years. What Dead or Alive Ultimate is actually a little bit confusing. It's a remake of the original Dead or Alive game and Dead or Alive 2, which came out at around the year 2000, though Dead or Alive 2 includes Hitomi from Dead or Alive 3. Dead or Alive 3 is not really missed in this package because all that game really did was add a few new characters. So basically, Dead or Alive 2 is by far the main attraction here. It's where all the attention went in terms of adding new graphics and adding tons of unlockable extras and things like that. And Dead or Alive, the original, it remains in its basically pure, unadulterated form. From a gameplay standpoint, the Dead or Alive series has always featured two main points. One thing is that the female characters have rather impressive proportions, and the other thing is that Dead or Alive has always offered a very sort of deep or rather prevalent countering system wherein every single character can execute counter moves, both high and low. So regardless of what type of punch or kick the opponent throws at them, you can theoretically counter it just by timing your counter move correctly. In practice, what this means is that the Dead or Alive gameplay, which is extremely fast, absolutely favors the aggressor. It's very easy to pick up and play this game because none of the moves are all that difficult to execute. You can really just mash out some pretty impressive combos just by punching the different buttons. On the other hand, if you are just way into fighting games and look for the depth and stuff like that, you'll find it here. You can begin to get good at this game by playing against the AI, but ultimately the AI doesn't provide that great of a challenge. There are 3 unlockable characters and tons of different outfits you can unlock just by playing through the single-player mode, but really the AI is just predictable after a while, but of course that's where the online component comes in. The unique innovation of this game is that it purports that the online play environment should really be like the good old days of the arcade, where you weren't always playing, sometimes you were just waiting your turn with your quarter up on the machine, you know, getting pumped up for the battle and watching the other players have at it, maybe strategizing about how you can beat the guy who keeps winning. In DOAU, this translates into sort of a lobby system where up to 8 players can be in the same environment at the same time. So it's still maybe a one-on-one match, or in some cases you have 2-on-2 matches in the game's tag team mode, but you've got these other players who are just observing and maybe talking smack or just looking at the match and kind of zooming the camera around and so forth and just waiting their turn. Now that seems kind of odd because why would you want to wait for a match if you could just be playing? And the answer is maybe you wouldn't, in which case you could set up just a standard 2-player match and play as much as you want. But this sort of social environment that DOAU creates is really quite interesting, and it has these various modes of play, such as, you know, the classic winner stays on, to even just the sort of backwards loser stays on types of modes. So there are just tons of options when you're first setting up a match or when you're searching for a match, and the game tracks tons and tons of stats and rankings and so forth. So it's all sort of set up to keep people honest and, you know, keep people maintaining the proper etiquette and so forth. And DOAU's version of Dead or Alive 2 looks absolutely incredible, which certainly doesn't hurt this package. It's just one of the best looking Xbox games yet, and it comes hot on the heels of Tecmo's Ninja Gaiden, which looks similarly as good. There's really sort of this anime inspired look to the characters, so they don't look lifelike, but still they just are amazingly well drawn and have really realistic looking clothing, and the backgrounds in the game are just spectacular also, and many of them kind of break apart and have a lot of sort of strategic interest, since you can knock people off the side and cause more damage that way, and just all this stuff looks terrific. It's pretty bold of Dead or Alive Ultimate to put the word ultimate in its title. That's saying a lot. But this game really does quite live up to that term. It's really just one of the most impressive fighting games on the market, and if you're a fan of this genre, then it really is a must-have game. It delivers what many fighting game fans have wanted for years and years, and which is that it restores that good old-fashioned arcade experience in the spirit of, good honest competition. So if you're just looking for a way to get your blood boiling about one-on-one or two-on-two fighting game matches all over again, there's really no better way to make that happen these days than Dead or Alive Ultimate.